Welcome to 15 Minute Theatre, the only review show that squeezes a whole production into 900 seconds. The date is Monday the 11th of December 2017, and we've just been to see Showstopper. Open the house. Hi, I'm James.
I am Vicky.
How you doing, Vicky?
I've got a bit of a sore throat. I'm feeling a bit sorry for myself.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
Do you think you're going to last for the 15 minutes?
I'm not sure. We have to cut it short today.
5 minute theatre.
5 minute theatre.
3 minute theatre.
2 minutes would be perfect. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's good news.
Yeah. So, we went just been to see Showstopper.
Yeah. What is it actually called? Is it called Showstopper or Showstoppers?
I'm very confused
Yeah.
because at the back on the set it said Showstopper
Yeah.
exclamation mark, but on the website it says Showstoppers.
I think it's called Showstoppers exclamation mark the improvised musical.
I think you're probably right. So let me tell you a bit of information about it. It's written by the actors and the audience, which we'll come on to in a minute.
Yeah.
It's directed by Adam Megiddo and Dylan Emery.
Yeah. Those guys. Those crazy kids.
It's at the Lyric Theatre and it's running at least until July 2018.
But it's not on like all the time. The Lyric Theatre has another show on. It has Thriller. So it's the Thriller is on at the Lyric Theatre, and Showstopper is just there on Mondays. But I don't think it's every Monday until July. I think check the dates.
Yeah.
Check the dates.
It's some Mondays, but
yeah.
I got to the theatre and thought, this is the wrong place.
It was confusing, wasn't it?
Very confusing.
And I think also they don't just do it there; they do it other places. I know for a fact they do it at Edinburgh.
Okay.
Film festival? No, not the film festival. Just the festival. The Fringe. Is what I meant to say, not film. And then they also said that they are doing a kids one at the Spiegel tent on Leicester Square. So if you have kids and you like our review, then go check that out.
Nicely spotted. Right, so do you want to tell us the synopsis?
Well, I guess this being improvised, the synopsis will be different for every single one that they do. So maybe we should explain the process of how it works.
Good idea.
Yeah. So there's a guy on stage who appears to be the director.
Yes.
Who has a chat with the producer on the telephone. He calls him Cameron, I believe. He's supposed to be Cameron McIntosh.
Very funny.
It's hilarious. And the audience have to come up with where it's going to be set. That's the first. Was that the first thing? Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, location.
Location, where it's going to be set. So the director chap will. People put their hands up. He'll point to them. They'll suggest places, and then people clap whether they like them. Then he picks one, and then they pick. Was it 4 different musicals that they're going to base?
4 or 5.
Yeah. So they. What do we have?
So just to be clear, tonight we can actually do spoilers about the show.
Yes, because it will never be the same again.
Because they say every show is different.
Yes.
So the location they chose
was an Antarctic
research facility.
Yes.
Which I was very pleased about.
I immediately thought The Thing, which I was quite excited about because that is a classic film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the original version. I've not seen the remake. And then people chose musicals to do it in the style of. So we had the chorus line,
Sound and Music, Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, and then somebody said Oedipus, which I don't.
It's not a musical.
It's not a musical, but I mean, I guess there's a play in there. And then after we chose the musicals, they then chose a title. Again, all of these were suggestions from the audience. So the title was "It's Ice to See You," which is again very clever, very clever.
Very good indeed.
So that's the setup.
And what did you think? So basically, they all got together, didn't they?
Yeah.
And
so there were how many there were in the cast? There were 3 ladies and 3 gentlemen.
6 plus the director, so 7 altogether.
Yeah. So the director sort of sat at the side of the stage and would every now and again get them to pause and tell them to do something in the style of one of the musicals, or give them a theme for a song or something. He would push them in certain directions, wouldn't he? And so there were 3 ladies, 3 gents. And and yeah, obviously it was all improvised. So it was based in this Antarctic research centre, and there was the beginning of a love story.
It was great to see how the characters suddenly developed. So this woman came down and joined the research facility, and suddenly she became Russian.
Yeah,
and
So as they improvised each bit, it would change. So first off, I think they were all American, weren't they?
Yeah.
They all had American accents, and then they started saying, "Oh, but we've got this Russian lady," and then she became Russian, and then they name each other, don't they?
Yeah.
So she became Magda. Then there was Barbara, the English lady.
Well, but I have to say, Barbara was brilliant. So she was a
Barbara
1950s B-movie scientist, really. Very stuck up, very English.
Yeah, she just troubled their emotions.
Yeah. and it got better and better as the characters
It did get better
formed.
and better. Yeah, it did. They were strong. I felt that the second half was much stronger. And I said to you, didn't I? I wonder whether maybe they had a bit of a conflab in the interval.
Yes.
And had a bit of a discussion about, right, we can do this, and this. Because I did feel the second half was stronger.
Yeah. I mean, I think they probably have kind of go-to tunes and styles that they use.
But this is what I'm wondering. They must have, because they were harmonising. And the first harmony that they did on the first song was a bit pony.
Yeah.
But then it got better. Like, and at the end, like the final number was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think they must have certain keys that they work in a lot.
Yeah.
But I guess that's probably standard musical practice. A lot of musicals probably have the same keys, don't they? Because it's easy.
Yeah.
Lord Webber's like, let's do it in a B. Sure.
So
in each one of his musicals, there's a B number. And then I guess, I don't know.
So the plot really started moving apace when they were outside in the ice, and they did this song called -25 degrees or something,
which was good.
It was brilliant,
yeah.
And these two fellas fell in love.
The fellas fell.
The fellas fell,
yeah.
And it turned out that there were these spores in the ice that were making everybody fall in love with each other.
A bit, they're making them all a bit horny, weren't they?
A little bit horny.
And then it all started getting a bit much, didn't it? They were going from being horny and being in love with each other to suddenly becoming polar bears. Oh, because there was this thing, wasn't there? That I keep remembering bits. So somebody pointed out during the interval you could tweet to suggest how the second half would start.
Yes. And there'd already been lots of. There was a whole song in the first act about how the Russian woman had been attacked by a polar bear and she killed it with a block of ice.
I think that was my favourite song, actually.
Very good.
What was it? 5, 6, 7, 8. When I would love
5,
to sing
6,
this.
7,
for you.
8 when polar bears attack.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8 when polar bears attack.
It was really good, wasn't it?
And do you know what? I have to be honest. I'm finding it hard to review this because it was very good and it was brilliant, but it was very of the moment and of the time. And
I think I was thinking about this earlier on. I think this is quite difficult to compare to other things that we've seen.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I don't know. How can you compare something that's just like this in the moment thing? You could go and see it next week and it could be awful. Yeah. I mean, I doubt it because they're clearly very good at what they do.
I laughed a lot. I mean,
yeah, I laughed
because there's that thing about improvisation.
So you laughed and I laughed.
You laughed. I did it properly.
I did it in a southern way, even though I'm not from.
But because you've got that nervous energy watching improvisation and you're not sure what's going to happen, you go along with them. So when they do something funny, it becomes incredibly funny.
It was really contagious because you felt like you were a part of it. You felt like you had a say in what was happening.
Yeah.
And therefore, you were part of the action, and it was really contagious.
And I don't know if it was the theme they chose, but I really liked the story. It was like The Thing, wasn't it? I loved the underground bass and then it became very much like the Rocky Horror Show because everybody was being freed from their inhibitions.
Yeah. So the English lady who was like really emotionally stunted, wasn't she? She couldn't get her feelings out, and then she had this sort of happen to her, and all of a sudden she was like become incredibly sexual and loving. I could speak about her emotions for the first time ever because of these weird spores. It was good. It was good. I wonder. Also, I was thinking about how do they rehearse? Do they like, okay, we've got these like tunes. We'll rehearse these tunes. We'll rehearse these harmonies. This is like a really. I'm sort of slightly blown away by it. I really want to know how they do it.
Well, I wonder because I thought there would be a little bit more improvisation coming from the audience, and that all happened at the start. But once it had been established, when they froze the action and dropped in another bit, it wasn't changing anything. It wasn't saying, right, what could happen now, really. They did it for the second act, but really, it had already found its path, and the audience didn't change anything about it.
No, not once it was going, apart from the tweeting during the interval.
But again, he read out quite a few tweets which they could have planned backstage. And we should say at that point, the tweet that was by far the most popular was the intervention of David Attenborough.
Yeah, because as somebody pointed out, they've been talking about polar bears a lot, and there are no polar bears in the Antarctic. So David Attenborough came on to do a song to sort of explain it. He didn't really explain it.
No.
But they did later on, didn't they? Oh, it's the spores, that's why they're polar bears. Yeah.
And you said you kind of enjoyed the second act more. I think I enjoyed the first act more, and I started getting a bit fatigued halfway through the second act.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you feel it was a bit contrived?
Well, it was, and it has to be, because they're just making it up on the spot. But you kind of, as you invested in the characters, you wanted more exciting things to happen. And then it picked up because everybody started changing to polar bears.
Yeah.
And then it came back with the 5, 6, 7, 8 polar bears attack.
Yeah. I like the way that when they change into polar bears, all that happens to them is basically they seem to have some sort of like cushion with ribbons on it. That they were pom-poms. Were they pom-poms? They just stuff into their tops. That's how they change to polar bears. And then they growl a bit, and then that'll be it. Oh, convincing polar bear.
But if they, which they were, coming up with it on the spot, you can't fault that. All right, let's talk a little bit about performances.
Yeah.
What do we think of the actors?
I mean, I think for them to be able to come up with the songs on the spot like that was brilliant.
Yeah.
But probably if you went to see an established musical, you maybe wouldn't want to see them all in it.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit mean, but I feel like that for me there were two like real standouts. It was two of the ladies.
Yeah, me too. I think we're going to say the same. Barbara and Magda.
And we don't have a cast list as well, so we can't tell you who they are. But yeah, there were two ladies who were just particularly strong. The lady that played the Russian and the lady that played the English person were just really on it. And actually, I wonder whether part of it was that they were really, you could really understand what they were saying. But a couple of them I found a bit difficult to sort of understand. And
also, I think when they came up with their lyrics and their tunes,
they were strong, weren't they?
They were really strong. I mean, some of them were just doing really basic rhyming.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not going to criticise the people.
But then there were some other good ones later on.
I like the short guy. I thought he was good.
I like the tall guy.
Oh, there you go. They were all good.
They were all really good, and I couldn't get up there and do what they did. They were amazing, and
they did pull a show together. It did have a story.
Yeah.
It did have all those dramatic beats. It did have a really strong ending.
It had some songs.
And it had some great songs.
Some of the songs were really good, actually.
They did a song about, well, it was basically about the origin of the species, and it kind of just became, well, not an amoeba.
An enemy.
An enemy. Which is quite funny.
Yeah. And they all were penguins for a little bit, which is quite funny. One guy actually just got on his belly and slid along the floor. That was a nice touch, wasn't it? Nice touch.
So yeah, it was. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, so lighting and sound.
It's not right. I mean, sound. We're including music.
We've got to talk about the band. So there was somebody playing the clarinet.
No.
The oboe.
That was a saxophone.
Saxophone.
Have you not seen the sexy saxophone player in the Lost Boys before?
No.
Anyone who hasn't seen the sexy saxophone player in the Lost Boys.
The only saxophone player I know is from that song
Kenny G.
Baker Street, and I was not a fan.
Kenny? No.
Kenny G, does he plays the guitar?
Oh, no, Kenny G. Hang on. No, Kenny G, he's a saxophone player. Kenny Rogers is a country and western singer.
He doesn't play the saxophone. Anyway, so we had a saxophone player, a pianist, and a drummer.
Yeah, well, she was sort of a multi-percussionist,
I didn't know this. What else did she have?
She had some bells. She had some, hanging bells.
Ah.
And she had a snare drum. She had another drum.
Let's just call it percussion. Let's call it percussion.
Yeah, let's call it percussion, because she didn't have a full-on drum kit.
Well, I thought they were superb.
They were really good. Again, makes me think, do they practice these songs? Because I know musicians jam. Musicians can jam. We all know this. It's, Bob Marley sang about it.
Big musicians ourselves.
Yeah.
We understand the techniques of jamming.
Bob Marley sang about it quite extensively in his song that goes, "We're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming." So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but they were good, weren't they? Really good.
And obviously it was a very basic set.
Well, they were in the Thriller set.
Do you think those things?
No, so they were in the Thriller set, but they had like these things, metal things. You describe them. I don't know how to describe them.
You mean the set?
Yeah.
Well, they had a door frame and they had a window frame.
Yeah, and there was some other bits. So it's clearly
And
they have like
some staging at the back.
So it's a portable set that they can move around.
Yeah.
But the Thriller set was around them.
Yeah.
And then they just had a sign, didn't they, at the back?
But let's be clear when we're talking about the Thriller set.
There wasn't much of a set.
It's not like the Thriller video. It's not like a graveyard, is it? It's just like scaffolding. So very basic, but again, they use lots of mime and they use loads of props, and that works.
They didn't use lots of mime. They used some mime.
And the bit where he was locked in the isolation booth?
When they did use mime, they did it very well.
Very well.
I wouldn't say it was lots, though.
And did you have any standout moments?
Yeah, I really liked the Polar Bear song. 5, 6, 7, 8, Polar Bears attack! And also, Magda, they were singing, when they did the Oedipus bit, and they were trying to sing about Greek myths and stuff. And Magda was like, I don't know any Greek myths, but I went there on a holiday.
I had some Tara Vassalata or so.
Yeah, anyway, that bit was good.
Okay, you clearly have two standout moments.
Okay, no, I'll go for the Polar Bears attack if I've got a bit.
I think mine, I love the minus 25 degrees song, and they brought that back as their like finishing song.
Yeah.
Which is very good. All right, okay, so we're going to take a break, and we'll come back with the scores.
All right then.
All right, so before we do the scores, we've got our feature, What Are You Talking About?
Or as I realised when we did the last one, I called it the water feature, which is I think quite good.
That's good.
Strong.
It's strong.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, so we got our feature, What Are You Talking About?
Have you got a pen? Do you need a pen?
Do you?
Oh, he's got a pen. He's hiding it from me.
Yeah. You're not allowed to use a pen.
In case I steal it.
Because you might try to take over the all-important score.
We're in my house here. I've got plenty of my own pens.
Okay, so we're going to rank... So how much was the bottle of water from the Lyric Theatre?
Well, you bought this water, didn't you?
I did. So I can tell you that it was £2.50.
Get out of 10.
Which puts it second on our leaderboard.
Yeah.
So the young Vic is still blazing the way with £1.70.
Yes, because it's sort of a cooler theatre, isn't it? Hey, we're the young Vic. We sell water really cheap.
Really cheap. And at the bottom is still joint second, the Phoenix Theatre and the Duke of York Theatre.
Yeah, I definitely think they're in the same theatre group.
I know, but it will ruin the whole point of the game if we... Well, we'll see.
Well, not all theatres are in theatre groups. You know?
It's a very good point.
So we can go to an independent theatre and it may have water for 50p.
Well, there we go. So Lyric Theatre, pretty good for water.
Everyone's going to get really bored of this feature, aren't they?
I love it. It's my favourite bit. Right, so we're going to do the scores.
Okay, what are we doing them out of again?
Okay, so... Right, I've got
it's
it
out
down.
of 10. Each one's out of 10.
Out of 10. Out of 10. So, performances. Do you want to start with performances?
Okay. I find this hard to rate. Mm-hmm. When we've rated like Ink and The Ferryman, which were pretty incredible.
It's such a stage dropper.
But I feel like I can't rate their performances at the same level.
No, we've got to do it in comparison to what they're doing.
But actually, they were really good. I'm going to go for a 7. And that feels mean to me.
Do you know what? I'm going to go for exactly the same. I was between 7 and an 8.
Yeah.
But some performances were better than others.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And I think a 7's a good score.
Sure.
Okay, so staging and technical. Well, for that, I'm also going to ram in the music and stuff.
If you're ramming in music.
Do you think I should ram in the music or not?
Well, no, because I don't know. It's hard because that will massively push the score up, and I don't think that's fair.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's just do it for staging and technical. Well, I have to give it a 4 because there wasn't very much to it at all.
No, there wasn't. Was there? I'm going to go for a... But, oh, God, I'm so torn because I feel so horrible if I give it a score.
I know, but you've got to just look at it.
Staging and technical, if we take away the music, I'd go for 4 as well, actually. Because there just wasn't really anything, was there?
No. All right, so narrative.
Why are you marking
because
in secrets?
Because I'm going to write my number down so it doesn't influence you.
Oh, because you think because I went for 4 because I went for 4.
No.
I can't make my.
copied me every
Do not
time.
have my own brain. Must follow what James
No, I
says.
just thought it would be more exciting.
Okay, fine.
Go on then. You go first.
You go first.
I know, because I've written mine down. There's no point.
Well, we're doing
You've seen it
narrative.
now.
No, I haven't seen it. I've closed my eyes. Narrative was strong, but then we chose it. I'm going to say 7.
Vicky's turning into Yoda. Okay, I'm going to give it an 8.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it
Okay.
was really... It seems like they put it together on the spot. It's
Yeah.
a good story. It all made sense.
Yeah.
And actually, it's the sort of musical that I would have enjoyed anyway. You know,
Yeah.
If that had just been the musical, a bit more refinement, I loved it.
I'd say a lot more refined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it had the bones of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Thing, the musical. This is what we should do.
Yes.
Anyone listening, I'm going to copyright this so no one else can have it.
Would John Carpenter not own the copyright to the thing? Well,
Oh.
no, because somebody did. John Carpenter, that was not a cover. What is it when you
What?
remake a film?
A remake?
A remake of the thing from another world. Anyway, we diverge. Right, originality.
Well, it was very original.
I'm giving it a 10.
Really?
Well, it was really. You can't get more original
No,
than
you can't.
an improvised piece.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
Just because I
So
feel...
you could give it more than...
Because I feel like if I give it the same score as you, then you'll get really cross with me.
Okay, and was it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an 8, actually. Because it was worth it. But I'm still thinking about, like, the ferryman. I think.
Okay.
But at the same time, I enjoyed it so much.
Do you know what? I laughed so much throughout it,
Yeah.
and I did get a bit fatigued, so I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
All right. So, while I tot up and work out these scores, Vicky, do you want to tell the listeners what we've got coming up next?
Well, actually, this is something I'm very excited about. James and I are going to see the Box of Delights in a couple of days' time, and it's something that I don't. If you remember the TV series from the 80s? 80s?
Yes,
Yeah.
1984, I think.
Then I'm sure you would also be as excited as we are. We watch the box set of the TV series, all 3 hours of it.
I don't know if I'm
every
comfortable.
year.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with you telling
Why are you
everybody
not
that.
comfortable with that?
Well,
It's
because
a wonderful thing.
we've
Wait.
watched it 20 times. So if you times that...
No, we haven't watched it 20 times.
Vicky, this will be our 20th year, and it's...
No, because we didn't have it until we first got it when someone made a VHS for me, and that was maybe 18 years
I
ago.
still think that
17
we've
years ago.
probably spent 3 full days of our life watching the Box of Delights.
Oh, man. Maybe you should edit this bit out.
Anyway, that's for...
No one can listen to the
that's for-
podcast anymore because they're going to think we're so weird.
Right, so I find it really hard to work these scores out, but I've done it.
Okay.
So it gets 73 out of 100. All right?
Okay.
So now I've got to divide that by 2 to work out, which I've now done. Yeah,
Your math skills are astounding.
I hope so. I don't think that... Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Is it right?
I don't think so.
Do you want me to do it?
Okay, 73 out of 100 divided by 2 is...
36 and a half.
Yeah, that's right.
Should have just asked me.
Okay, so it gets a 3.6 star rating. Okay.
That's not bad. I mean, I feel
Well, she's...
that seems a bit harsh because I would encourage anybody to go and see it because it is really, really good fun. I'm literally just because we've seen some really, really amazing bits of theatre. That's the only reason I marked it down a little bit. But maybe I shouldn't compare it to other things because it was so much fun and I really highly recommend it.
Okay, so I'm just going to compare it to other things.
Okay, fine.
So that puts it above Wings
Yeah.
and just below The Exorcist.
Oh,
in
I feel
fifth
like,
place.
oh dear.
But-
okay.
I think that's probably about fair. I like The Exorcist.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
Okay.
3.6 is a good rating.
yeah.
That's, if you rounded it up, it would be a 4-star rating.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone would be happy with that.
I definitely recommend going to see it.
Yeah, definitely. It's great fun. And in fact, I would go and see it again.
Yeah, I would, just to see if they use the same tricks. Actually.
Yeah.
If we do, we'll give it a completely different score.
Well, look out for our review number 2 of Showstoppers, the improvised musical.
We'll just do it every 6 months, you know. Maybe we'll just do Showstoppers from now on.
Stay tuned, everyone.
Oh, Vicky, did you hear that? There's a theatre bell.
No way. Not heard that before.
It means we're out of time.
Oh, that is a shame.
All right, well, I'll see you soon.
I'll see you in a couple of days for Box Delights.
Very excited about
I'm
the
very
boxing.
excited.
Very excited. That's going to be a special edition.
Yeah.
Might even do 16-minute theatre, who knows?
Well, I think the last one was 20.
Yes. Who's counting?
We're a bit loose, aren't we?
All right, well, thanks for listening. I've been James.
I've been Vicky.
The curtain's down, the theatre's dark, and that was 15-minute theatre. Good night.
Thanks for coming. If you're brave enough to have your theatre production reviewed, please contact us at 15minutetheatre@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter and please rate and review us on iTunes. Thanks for listening.